Hi there, I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. We had a really great Stupid O'Clock show tonight, and I am hoping that some of the folks will cross over and come on to the show right now. I think they are playing a prank on me and going to see whether or not I'm going to do a 2 hour monologue by myself, but if so, so be it. I do talk a lot of nonsense and I do have a great deal of fun doing this show. So even if I got to be here by myself for a little while, that's all right. Nobody will suffer. Um, what's new besides the plague and the war? Neither of which I really care about talking about right now because the plague's old hat and it's got down to the point to where it's being considered just another variety of flu now because like any brand new variety of flu, it's deadly at first and then people adapt and adopt safety precautions or ignore same. And stupidity should always be fatal. So unfortunately, a lot of innocents get caught in the crossfire there. So there's not anything to revel in on that front. So I won't, because that would be cruel. And one thing I'm not is cruel. And by doing the show, I'm also not cowardly. So I'm fitting in with Capaldi's version of the Doctor right now, even though I'm not a Time Lord, as far as you know. So what else is going on? Yeah, there's people shooting at each other again someplace else far away, which makes it somewhat unreal and real at the same time because it is real and people are suffering from the violence that is government of ungovernment, which should not carry over to private citizens, but often does, almost always does. You can't have a war without governments. People don't decide to have wars, governments do. So, seems like there'd be a simple solution to that, but anarchy is so unstable. Uh, as much as I admire my libertarian friends, um, the possibility of everyone being self governing and adult enough to where a government is only making sure that nobody steps on anybody else's rights is few and far between, or little to none, depending on which way you define that. That would be ideal, but we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a real world. And I just have one of my reasons for living a special guest, Nita.
What up?
Hey, doll.
If I'm your
How
reason
you
for
doing?
living, dude, you really need to re-examine your life. Woo!
Oh,
I'm struggling to keep myself afloat.
hey,
It's too much
you you
responsibility, Dan.
you are just one of the people that give me inspiration to keep going because you've gone through some hell and high water there, and I just keep treading water as much as I can. But that and I love your sense of humor, and I
It's
love the
been
fact that you use industrial language the same way I do. So that is awesome right
all right. Well, that answers my question.
there.
Phew.
Yeah, you can say
It's
fuck
like,
here.
what can I say? Cunt.
You can, but
It'll be. It's like acceptable. All right. Well, we'll deal. We'll manage. Fuck is good.
I don't care, and nobody ever watches my show anyway, so who cares? Well, wait a minute, two people are watching now,
Oh,
so
what? Uh
oh Lord, I've got a record mention. Yes,
oh.
yes,
We're in trouble now.
I mentioned Capaldi. Yes, I wouldn't say that is the reason that I rock, but yeah, Glenn B. Fleming.
Glenn, hello.
Yes. Hey, now, Glenn, I've been getting the things about why are you having to GoFundMe for something that's going to sell out the first minute? I mean, the the book on Jack Kirby, the video. I mean,
Oh,
this is
there's
a
a big
guaranteed
difference
win.
between a GoFundMe and a crowdfunder.
Uh,
Like,
well, uh, well, maybe he's working up for the advertising money. I don't know, but this is an automatic buy for me, Glenn. Just you know, rest assured, you got at least one sale already. Uh, oh man. Uh, Now the world is in a weird place, and I'm trying to ignore it right now. Otherwise, I
oh,
go
me too.
crazy. I have enough trouble in my personal life. So, oh, testing the same water. Well, as long as it's warm, but not getting warmer incrementally by the minute. You know, that's the way you successfully boil a frog. Is you turn it on low and gradually increase the heat till you got soup. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I'm not a fan of frog legs, although
Mm-mm.
some of my relatives back when I was a child would, you know, have them in the frying pan, and they illustrated uh, electrogalvanics and nervous responses, which
Oh yes.
long before I ever heard those terms, that they would make a frog leg jump when it was no longer attached to the frog, and that's just how nerves work.
It's one thing we were taught real early is how to cut that tendon so they don't jump out the skillet.
Well, no, I mean this was just the leg; it wasn't even attached to the
Oh, I
frog.
know. There's a tendon, a certain tendon that if you cut it, it's not going to have that reflex. Like it's not going to retract
Hmm.
and then spring. So that's one thing they taught us. I don't remember how to do it though because I could never get in. Frog legs grossed me out, especially the way my brothers handled them. They
I
they
could.
did they didn't even kill the frog. They just fucking chop its legs off and toss it, and it was just like,
That seems to be needlessly cruel.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, swamp
I,
rats. What
I,
can we
I
tell you?
couldn't even stand the biology classes where we had the ones pickled in formaldehyde that we had to dissect in order to make
Oh
a passing
no.
grade. That no, I couldn't. Give me the college biology class where we had to breed fruit flies in order to get the mutations. Some had white eyes and some had red eyes, and we had to get the whichever one is the least common. Can't remember at the time, uh, but anyway, I could do that. But that didn't involve killing anything. That was just letting them have fun in a jar.
Even the frog for me didn't require killing anything. It was brought to us in formaldehyde, but
Yeah, I couldn't stand that though.
my stomach lost it after the squid, and it wasn't even the fact of dissecting the squid because that didn't really phase me. It was the smell. To this day, I can remember that smell, and it was the most pungent. Just
Was that
mm,
formaldehyde or squid?
it was the squid. It was the
Okay.
squid. It was awful. It was the strongest fishy smell I can
Oh,
possibly imagine. I grew up in Grand Isle and on the beach in Fouchon.
yeah. Here you go, Nita. Glenn wants to be on your show.
You should totally do that, Daphne, and I would love to have you.
There you go. And he says he did the same thing in biology class, and he thought it was pointless. So, yeah. I remember one scene from the school reunion episode of Doctor Who, where one of the companions went into the lab room. It was now I can't remember his name. Damn it, the character's name. But
Mickey.
everybody, Mickey, yeah, Mickey,
Mickey. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I
opened
love
opened the
Mickey.
door and it was covered with vacuum packed frogs, and screamed like a little girl. And I'm going, well, you give me a shock like that, I'll scream like several little girls singing in harmony.
I'll squeal like a little bitch too.
Yeah, really. Uh, You frighten me enough. You're going to be hearing stuff in ultrasonic frequencies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was my favorite. That was my favorite tenant time right there with Mickey.
that was the point of that scene. Just everybody die laughing. Yeah. But seriously, put yourself in that situation. How many people would have reacted differently? I mean, I know a couple of would have went, "Oh no, not again," and then most of us would have been, "Ah!" You know, me included. Uh, oh Lord, I scream enough in traffic, but usually it's in words that can't be printed without using the upper row of the typewriter. So
It's characters, all right, but it's not letters and numbers.
mm,
That's me.
yeah. Oh, oh, okay, Glenn. Not watched since Eccleston left. Okay, the scene with Vincent. Yep, that was very good. That was very powerful. Yes, it was one of the greatest things in TV history. You're right. You're absolutely right. I have been personally watching since the middle 1970s. So
Wow.
the first Doctor I was introduced to was Tom Baker. But I have gone back and I've watched everything that has.
Oh yes,
I've watched
yes.
every surviving thing that's ever been broadcast. And but matter of fact, I've even got the photo snap reconstructions of the ones that were wiped, and they had to rebuild them from the audio track and still photographs while they were actually filming. And I'm trying to get hold of the animations for the ones that
Oh my God, those were awesome.
some of them
That's really what got
some
me
of them
hooked.
really are, and some.
That's what got me hooked. And then my grandfather introduced me to Colin Baker, and I went back from there.
Mhm.
And then I maintained a pretty good interest, right until, which really sucks because I love the actress, but until Amy. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like I fell off then, and I'll watch here and there, and but
Now I love the character. I love the actress. There were a lot of people that had problems
and I came
with the
back strong for
script at
Capaldi
that
for a
time.
minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, here's the old man again, the grumpy old man. This is what it started out like. Yeah. And he had been a fan forever, so he knew exactly what he was doing. And I've got to say that Patrick Troughton was always my doctor up until Richard Hurd played uh, the war doctor. Was it Richard? No, it wasn't Richard.
I think my favorite was Tom in the beginning when I first started, when I was going back, because I went way back and
Mm-hmm.
started watching all. I think my favorite would have been Tom Baker,
Mm-hmm.
and then I really liked Eccleston and Tennant.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Smith kind of wavered, but that wasn't because of him. It was because of the storylines.
Yeah,
And Capaldi brought it, and Jodie just made me turn it off.
I'm actually I'm thinking Jodie got cheated. She did not have good scripts.
No, she did not. No, she did not. They wrote
She
her with an agenda, which is where they fucked up.
uh-huh. Other shows that she's been on have proved to me she can pull it off.
Oh yeah.
They just did not write her decent scripts. She got shortchanged. And I'm thinking that was a deliberate BBC decision to go, oh, you want a woman doctor? Okay, we'll give you one with shitty scripts, and then we'll be able to say, oh, that was a failure, wasn't it? Yeah. BBC John Hurt. Thank you, Pam.
John
John Hurt.
Hurt
John Hurt
is the man
he became my doctor just for that one
because
little.
he's the war doctor, man. That's
Yeah,
fucking epic.
but it was one of those things. Like I said, I started off with Pat Troughton being my absolute favorite of all time. John Hurt came along, and I go, whoa. And I have to admit, I have a particular soft spot for Paul McGann. I wish that he had had a whole season or two. And here we got Joe Dog. Well,
What up, Joe Dog? I was just about to
oh,
say I'd like to
he's here.
publicly
Get
announce that
audio.
I am really I want to publicly announce that I am ashamed of both the Joes for not showing up in
Well,
this here brilliant stream. Oh, look at you.
but
Okay,
Yep.
so I am publicly disappointed in one Joe who
Nita,
didn't
he
show up
combed
for
his
this stream.
hair.
Look at you. Hello.
He got dolled up just for you.
Yeah. No, me and Chris were having a Hallowcon meeting.
Mm.
Nita, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know you were in Mississippi.
Oh, I'm in Louisiana.
Louisiana. Sorry, you need to come to Hallowcon.
Where is that?
Oh, would not that be a party?
Oh my gosh.
The weekend before Halloween.
And where?
Dalton, Georgia,
Oh, that's not too bad.
about 25 miles south of Chattanooga.
Yeah, that's not too far.
Yeah.
Pretty much hit 20 to Atlanta and head north on 75.
Get off when you see all the drunks trying to get into a hotel driveway.
Look, let me tell you, when I go that far by myself, I'm taking a bus because I do not like to fly because I will be the person who gets in a fight with people at the airport. Motherfucker, you done checked me enough. Like, it's going to be a throwdown scenario. I do much better going to bus stations and scrapping my way across country. So,
Is there a bus station in Dalton, Chris? That's your department.
There is one. What
there's
they do is,
probably a drop off in a shopping center or something like that.
actually,
station.
it's at the Pilot truck stop on exit 326 off of I-75, and there's a McDonald's and a Subway and a Pilot truck stop. And
I don't know if Uber comes that far south.
Because I don't like to drive. Like, I like to ride. I don't drive.
Oh,
it doesn't matter if she's there. Let me know. I'll pick her up and bring her to the hotel. It's
really?
Jeez, Joe. Damn.
It's
I
Look
still
at
better
the
say-
over here.
If I'm still sober at that time of moment, I'll go pick her up. Hell,
Well, you
Let me
see,
tell you.
guys, I wasn't trying to volunteer you to go pick her up.
but we knew you weren't going to do it. So
Well,
You damn straight, because I don't have time.
I know exactly where it is. It's about 5 minutes away from where I work, and it's like the exit the hotel's off of is 333. It's 326. It's not that far away.
I know
Oh,
that
okay.
Greyhound has some seriously crazy bus stops. They have bus stops that are so just ambiguous. They don't even know that they're fucking bus stops. Like, they on my ticket on the way into Florida when I went down to go get all of Meredith's belongings and stuff for the business. They let me off in a shopping center outside of Osceola, Florida. Or Ocala, I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep saying
Okay,
Osceola.
I
Yeah,
know
right
Ocala.
outside of Ocala. But the place where they picked me up, we had to chase the fucking bus down or they would have left me. Because they
surprised you didn't
decided
have
it was going to be another vacant mall a little further down the road.
I'm surprised you didn't have a 3-day layover in Atlanta.
I did have a 3-hour layover in Atlanta, which involved security and a pickpocket and me being detained.
Did the pickpocket ever learn how to walk again?
He took off running, so he did learn to walk. But they came after me because I attacked him. But I attacked him because one thing is I grew up in Baton Rouge in New Orleans. When somebody bumps into you, I don't look at them to see if they're okay. I'm looking for where my most valuable possessions are. And I had just stuck my cell phone in my pocket. I was wearing this hoodie, and it has the front pocket here. And I just got through telling Chris that I had made it to Atlanta, and I stuck it in my pocket. And this dude comes and he trips in front of me. And when I look down, He's falling into me, but his hand is just perfectly going into this, gliding into my pocket. And I kicked the fuck out of him. And I started yelling at the top of my lungs, "What the fuck are you doing, you goddamn," like there. And so security grabs me while he's on the floor. He gets up and takes off running. Then they let me go and go after him. And it was just a nightmare scenario. It's like,
Yeah, I keep trying to train myself to scream "stop thief" before I stomp somebody.
it was just straight, "I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. I'm in a bad mood. I just lost my best friend. I'm taking the most dreaded trip I've ever had to take in my life. It is the middle of the night, and you're gonna fuck with me? No, I just had enough."
Well, I can tell
What's
you,
real nonsense is you got to go to Atlanta to get from Louisiana to Florida.
Oh, dude, that's nothing. I went I had to go 45 minutes past where they would have picked me up normally to circle back up to be dropped off. It was ridiculous. Oh wait, no. Let me start from the fucking beginning. The trip down there was 48 hours because they took me from Baton Rouge to New Orleans to Tennessee to Mississippi, from Mississippi into Georgia, and from Georgia they finally brought me into Florida. It was ridiculous. The ride back was not too bad at all. The ride back was like 15 hours. I had 2 stops. Only one was really a layover. The other was like, you better hurry your ass up, go piss, and get back on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that particular bus stop, Nita, is not that bad. It's fairly well lit. There's usually somebody there. It's open 24 hours a day. They usually come in the afternoons.
Well, I don't mind renting a car once I get to the location I'm at, but I just don't like the long fucking drive, and that would have been a 9.5 hour drive by myself, and I wasn't in a good state of mind. So it was like the bus was a better option. It gave me time to think, you know.
Yeah, that's like when my wife first left New Mexico to come and meet me in person for the first time before we ever. Well, we'd only known each other online before. It took her 3 days to make what would have been for me a 24-hour drive. They went all over creation.
It's how they do, man.
I know. It's like, okay, you want to go east of Atlanta. Okay, we've got to stop in Tokyo.
Damn, it sure fucking felt like it though, right?
That reminds me of, what is it? Wasn't there an REM song called "You Can't Get There From Here"?
You can't get. Look, if you die and God decides you have to go to hell, you've got to sit in the Atlanta airport for 2 weeks before you ever get to where you're going.
Or the bus terminal, either one.
Well, there is the ongoing joke that is pervaded for decades. If you want to get to heaven, you got to change planes at Hartsfield.
Mm-hmm. It don't
Louis
matter.
Grizzard.
Oh yeah, it don't matter where you're going.
I miss Louis Grizzard. God, he was funny.
Yeah. Now, when we went to England, we got lucky enough to get a transatlantic flight from Atlanta to London without having to stop anywhere else first.
Yep.
But there was a volcano going off in Iceland at the time, so we had to detour around the dust cloud.
Oh, jeez.
So it was.
But at least there's an explanation for that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It was 12 hours of flight time to get there and 11 hours coming back.
Glenn Fleming.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Glenn, you got to remember, all of England, from Portsmouth on up to Scotland, can fit in between Miami, Florida, and
Atlanta, Georgia.
No, it's actually
because America, Glenn, America.
It's actually I think Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I've done the map comparisons before.
Yeah, Great Britain's actually the 7th largest island in the world.
Yeah.
Well, it has been known for people to take 24 hours to drive from one side of Texas to the other.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although,
Of course, I know an
I
old
can
Georgia
take
farmer
Texas
that
in
said he
10
had a
and a half
truck like that
hours.
once.
yeah, really, takes me 24 hours to get across this 2-acre field. Yeah.
It takes me
Nita, I
5
don't know.
hours to get from Baton Rouge to Houston.
I don't know if you're familiar with Louis Grizzard, Nita, but he has some of the funniest books titles. Elvis is dead, and I don't feel so good myself. They
Oh,
tore out my
nice.
heart and stomped that sucker flat. If love were oil, I'd be about a quart low.
So like
Uh,
some Gonzo style writing.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Well,
love
yeah,
that. That's
but
right up my alley.
he's a columnist, and
yeah, Atlanta Journal columnist, and one of the most astounding and most observant folks that Georgia has ever produced. Should be a national treasure, but
he started out as a sports columnist, and he said,
it turned out he could make a better living as a smartass and went into.
yeah,
But see, I love that because Gonzo journalism is my thing. Like, I mean, I love William S. Burroughs, and yeah, that's my style there.
one of the funniest stories was his boyhood friend and idol Wayman C. Wanamaker Jr. I don't know if that was a real name or one he made up, but it was hilarious. The stuff he would tell about him.
Oh,
And I forgot my other favorite title of his. Sheet Low Boys, they're riding Shetland ponies.
Oh my god.
He was actually on an episode of Designing Women where he played
Yes, he was.
Baker's younger brother.
yes, he was.
Oh, really? Well, then I probably have seen him because my mother was huge into Designing Women.
Oh, I was
Huge.
too.
She was a massive Delta Burke fan. We must have watched every episode, every fucking time it aired. It just didn't matter if it was rerun or not. We had to watch.
I was a fan of the whole cast. Those were pretty ladies.
I was in love with all
And funny.
four of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear.
I grew to like them, but when you're a kid, it's like,
grew up with girls just exactly like that. I knew
absolutely
exactly what they were. All I had to do was start talking from the accent. I knew exactly what their education was, what their background was, whose grandmama raised them, and whether or not they could cook.
Yeah.
And I don't
Look
think
at you, Dan. Worrying about your belly, just like a man.
Oh no. It's just one of those things that you learn from going to family reunions.
Yeah.
So can I cook, Dan? We've talked enough. You ought to figure this out.
You're from Louisiana. You ought to be able to cook your butt.
If you're from Louisiana,
you cook.
If you're from Louisiana, if you don't know how to cook, you need to leave.
I know, right?
I would trust your potato salad. Let me tell you, right there.
That's actually my one weakness, though. I swear to God, I cannot master a potato salad. I just cannot.
Well,
I can do an etouffee, a jambalaya all day long. I make a killer spaghetti. I can roast just about any kind of meat you could throw at me. But potato salad, it just kind of falls a little short every time.
Now, Nita, you being from Louisiana, you'll understand this.
All right.
When the family has a crisis,
mm-hmm.
when there's a family crisis, the best way to comfort them is a plate of hot fried chicken.
Food, period.
And potato salad. And if it's a real serious situation like a death or whatever, you throw in a little banana pudding.
Oh, yeah, always. Or bread pudding, either one.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on which side of the family if it is. If it's mama's side, it's banana. If it's daddy's, it's bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes down.
Mm-hmm. Glenn said, hold the salad. I'm on my way for the roast, Nita.
Yep.
All right, guys. It is well past my bedtime because of my medications. But I did want to pop in and say hi. But Chris kept holding on, keep telling me more and more stuff for Hallowcon. It's Chris's fault I'm late. I'd have been here on time.
Yeah, well, I would have been.
I'm hide not to expose Dan's audience into bad shit.
All right, Joe. Show picture Grillzilla.
Oh, okay.
That will
Don't do
definitely
drugs,
set
kids.
Glenn off. Let me tell you.
Shoot, Glenn may come from
That'd
English.
be fine.
Hey,
Hartsfield's got connected air flights to Chattanooga.
Documents. That's not it.
he doesn't have it bookmarked.
Glenn just totally
stunned.
pop in with you, Dan, and give you an interview one night.
Glenn doesn't need to interview me. I'm nobody special.
Well, then you interview him. He's fun. He knows.
Yes, I know
He
I
knew
know
Jack
he's
Kirby.
fun.
That's
I know
just
he's
fucking
fun.
amazing.
I've been watching him and Ted on
TED Talks.
well, no, not. They've got their I can't remember the name of the damn thing now.
The Drinking with the Davies.
No.
I love that show. Oh
Ted
my
and Glenn,
gosh.
Ted and Glenn had an unsolved mystery sort of show.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I missed
and
that entirely.
it was awesome. And Glenn's got a really great insight into the statues on Easter Island. And
That's
All right.
there you go.
Yeah.
I love Glenn. Every time he comes around with some knowledge.
Let me preface this here.
Truthmongers. That was the name of it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Glenn.
Let me preface this. This was during renovation. It's been upgraded, and the second renovation is coming this year. This is what all the food at Hallowcon's cooked on.
This is Megan's playground.
And over here behind the grill will be a flat top griddle, a 4-burner flat top griddle, and then I'm going to place a stove in behind on the other side of it. It's going to take 4 propane tanks to run this bitch.
Wow.
And there will be ambulances on call if you overeat.
There better be.
Well, there's a hospital that's 2 miles away.
Believe me, once you've tasted Megan's cooking on Grillzilla, you're going to turn your nose up at any restaurant you go in.
Well, if you remember, Grillzilla was giving her a fit.
Yeah, it wasn't cooperating. And see how many miracles she pulled off anyway?
Well, I had to have a talk with her, and then she had a talk with her, and then she behaved. It's like, you're not supposed to be working on me. I don't know who you are. I don't do this. Don't do this. But then once, she learned her quirks and Grillzilla learned Megan's quirks, it clicked and it ran great.
It was magic.
Oh, let me tell you. That now, I can speak for about 5 different conventions in the South. This was my first Hallowcon. I've got to tell you, there ain't no convention meal can touch this. I don't care how many 5-star restaurants you've got doing the cooking.
You can't tempt me with a convention meal. I've had food poisoning one too many times at a con.
You won't have one at Hallowcon, let me tell you.
I will not eat during or at a convention. I always leave to eat. I am not even playing around.
Well, you at least got to give us a try. Because I'll tell you what. I'll tell you how good the food is. While cooking, we have people show up that have sniffed their way down.
Oh, wow.
For a plate.
Well, then.
Yes.
And I don't mean people staying at the hotel.
I mean people 2 miles away.
So you guys are
people
like cooking
off the highway.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's fucking different. I'm talking about the fucking pre-made. You got to $30 for a damn personal cheese pizza that's like this big. And
no. By the way, all that food is included in the batch price.
It don't cost you nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, damn, that might be the con for us, fucking broke ass motherfuckers.
That's what we're designed for. Have you ever been? Well, maybe not, but have you ever been on a cruise?
I've been on one cruise, yeah.
Imagine going to a cruise at a hotel.
Hmm.
That's what we do.
The
You
only
don't
thing
have
we
to
don't
leave.
do is breakfast, and the hotel provides a limited breakfast menu.
The hotel provides
Yeah, I'm about to bring that up to see
makings of
because one of our
waffles
biggest things
and-
is eating while we're out. I mean, damn, all of our friends want to go to these fucking when we're like in Florida for MegaCon or whatever.
Mhm.
Everybody's wanting to go to these 4-star restaurants, and it's like, all right, I can't afford a fucking $150 every time my ass is ready to eat.
And
let me get some fucking McDonald's.
if you don't, okay, say you say, okay, I'm not going to eat their food. There is a Wendy's within walking distance.
Well, then that's all you need.
There's a Waffle House that's across the.
Even better. That's my place.
There's a Waffle, and then there's a Burger King next door to it.
If I wasn't drunk right now, I'd be like, all right, dudes, I'm headed to Waffle House. I'll see y'all later. Because I would totally go for some hash browns.
The next exit has an IHOP and another Waffle House.
Well, then.
There was only one day at this past year's Hallowcon that I woke up early enough to where I would have been able to get breakfast and left the hotel, and I went down to, I think, 2 exits below the south of the hotel and got some kind of biscuit, sausage and egg biscuit or whatever, and came back. Now, there was one morning I got up and I wandered down to the hotel breakfast nook, and Michaela was sitting there, and we had a cup of coffee, shared a cup of coffee and donuts while she was working on her laptop, and I was watching horror movies on the TV screen that Joe had set up to play continuously for the entire weekend. I'm going, how do you do that without a 10 terabyte hard drive? Mm-hmm. Good night, Jody. I was going to say, why weren't you here, Jody? But,
I know. I've been hitting him up in his private chat. I've been like, where you at, Joe? Thought you was coming, Joe. But he's got business to handle in the morning, so we'll forgive him this time.
Oh, yeah. I run horrible C movies. I won't even give some of these
C movies. There's something worse than B, because that's my language there.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, as you're sitting there watching going, God, this is horrible, just realize there are movies that I called out.
Give me one. What's your worst, Joe?
I don't even remember. I delete them.
You delete them, dude. Those are, man, you got to save those. Those are great for drunken nights where you're like, hey, I don't feel like talking, but you want to watch something. You're like, yeah, get up in your feels. Birdemic, Santa Jaws. Oh my God.
She-Devil.
Oh man, She-Devil. Let me tell you, that is like that is the part of me that is most lonesome and empty right now. Because that is something Meredith and I would do on a regular basis. Both of us have insomnia. Or had insomnia, so we would jump in a StreamYard together and we would stream the cheesiest, shittiest movies you could find.
That's the thing about Hallowcon, though. You can find a conversation that'll keep you out of the movie room all damn night, and you wake up the next afternoon.
Clown-nado, Velocipaster, dude. Come on, man.
Well, see, we got to run public domain movies.
Yeah, because we don't.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's even better. Now, that's even worse.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Saturday morning from, I think it was from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, I ran cartoons.
Oh, nice.
All Halloween-themed cartoons. Which is, God. I might as well get started on that one soon because I waited until about October 15th to start picking the movies.
Oh, I almost started to buy a movie that I saw at Dollar Tree that had Rebecca Romaine Stamos and.
Oh yes, right there. I'm sold.
I think it was called Satanic Panic or something along that line. I think it's kind of a possession movie.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm done.
Registration starts Tuesday for it too. Okay.
What?
Hallowcon.
registration.
Or am I looking at the wrong one? Yeah, are y'all listed as the Fantasy Horror and Convention?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Online registration opens March 1st.
Well, thank you for telling me because I
because I'm gonna
fucking
totally
forgot.
look into that because that's totally within our budget. But there's free food.
Hey, and Ted Davies will be there.
Nice.
Ted and Brian.
And Michaela.
Maybe
And then-
Michaela.
Right
We
up
don't
Donna.
know
fucking
about
alley.
Michaela yet.
But Donna.
Oh shit, Carl and Donna.
Carl and
Carl
Donna.
and Donna were there this past year, and they had a great time.
I totally I really need a hug from Donna and Carl.
They actually said they had so much fun they're going to come down on Thursday and leave Monday.
Nice. Okay.
See,
I'm gonna try to do this with you guys.
Have you ever worked a convention before?
I've worked a convention, sort of. I've never had to stay at a table.
Yeah. Well, have you ever attended the Dead Dog Party?
No.
Okay. We have 3 parties. It's pretty much staff only parties. We have the new puppy on Thursday night. That's, and then Saturday evening we have, or Sunday evening we have the Dead Dog Party, which is, we've killed
everybody that's still there.
Yeah, everybody's still there.
After breakdown and all that stuff.
After breakdown and all that, then after we get everything put away, done, packed in storage and all that, we go back and have the wake.
Oh Lord! Oh my gosh, it sounds like my kind of weekend. The kind that sucks because I come home and I had the time of my life and I don't remember a fucking thing about it.
That's Hallowcon.
That's the best weekend.
Yeah.
Nita, were you drinking New Amsterdam vodka?
I sure am. I'm still hitting
you got good taste.
Well, thank you, sir.
That's good stuff.
I'm feeling high class right now because the past week it's been taco.
And it's inexpensive.
Well, I'm
it's
not
the smoothest vodka you can get for the price.
Yep.
And Chris will tell you, I'm not a cheap drunk either. I got to have $90 bottles of bourbon.
Oh well, you're kind of a high class hoe for me, Joe.
That and moonshine.
Hey.
Well, moonshine, that's my language. My people make that.
So does Joe.
I learned at a very early age, one of the first things we ever learned from our grandmothers is how to bake bread because the smell of the bread baking covered the smell of the yeast coming from the moonshine. Yes, so the men could run that business while we had a cover.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Have you ever had any moonshine so smooth you couldn't taste it?
I cannot say I have. I've had some that was close, but I can't, I've heard of it almost being as pure as water. I have not found that.
For a minute there, Joe, I thought you had a quart jar of your rheumatism medicine.
Nita, that stuff is pretty smooth. And when it hits, you feel like you've been kicked by a mule.
Oh, see, that's my shit there.
It's so smooth, you go down and think, man, that's nothing. That's nothing. Then it hits, and you're like, oh, what have I done? What have I done?
The first time I dropped that LSD.
Oh,
I was like,
what?
It goes down so smooth, and you feel like it's just like drinking water, and then you try and stand up and find out, this wasn't water after all.
I don't know. I might surprise you. I can walk after some serious shit.
It's fire water, Dan.
Yeah, well, I was able to walk, but I'm not willing to state that I was very coordinated at the time.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Guys, I got to get out of here. I love talking with y'all, but I'm done.
And Joe, you're the youngest fella here, right?
No, that'd be Chris.
Oh, baby face.
Or maybe you.
Look,
bro,
I dropped my balls to get here. I'm just hanging.
Okay.
Chris, how old are you? You're now 40?
No, I'm older than that.
Okay. 51. What?
5'1".
No
You're
way.
51.
Get the
Yes.
fuck out.
Yes.
You don't look a
Holy
day over
shit,
17.
I wasn't going there, Dan, but damn. Like I
Tell
would
me I'm
never.
wrong.
No.
That's why I know some of the stuff I know.
I would have pegged you 41 tops right there.
Well, thank you, Nita. I appreciate that very much.
So is Chris older than you?
Me?
I'm sure
Yeah.
I am.
That's none of your business, boy. You don't know how to talk to a lady.
Well, you're
You
here,
don't ask
so
a woman her age. If she volunteers it, that's fine.
Never
But you
go
don't
there,
ask it.
Joe. Damn.
well, I didn't ask your age. I just said, are you older or younger?
I might be older.
Okay.
I could be younger.
Bullshit. Pardon my French.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but I'm 5 years older than Chris.
I'll be 44 Tuesday.
Oh, you're just a baby.
Lord have mercy. Oh my God. Y'all are the first ones to know. Y'all can run with that tomorrow, Dan. You want to get some fucking likes and views? Be like, we know exactly how old that bitch is. She told us.
Hey, I don't kiss and tell.
I tell no one. I like, oh my gosh. Meredith went to the grave without knowing how old I was.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll be 65 in November. I got people at work going, what?
Hey.
I'm going, yeah, just because I can outwork you don't mean I'm younger than you are.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 56. People say we're amazed you live that long living the way you do.
Yep.
And if you've ever read some of my Facebook posts, you'd be wondering yourself.
We just wonder why. We just wonder how come Donna hadn't killed you yet. Supposed to.
Dude, I go back and read my Facebook post, and I'm like, should I report myself? Does this girl need help? there are times I'll be like, she might need some therapies or something.
Hey, one of my wife's best ones, serious, and it's coming up soon, and I'll repost it. My wife came in and asked me one day, "What day's Good Friday on?"
Oh Jesus!
I'm assuming she meant
Good Friday is on Wicked Wednesdays, baby. That's what you tell her. Good Friday's on Wicked Wednesday.
Oh,
believe me, every Friday is Good Friday for me. Means I don't have to go to work on Saturday.
Dude, my birthday is totally fucking Mardi Gras this year. That is kind of being shit on. Especially living where I live. None of my friends are going to fucking remember me, them son of bitches. They're all going to be worried about getting flash titties. Good night, Joe.
Good night.
Good night, Joe.
Oh, and yeah, I forgot they've got the new thing where when you hit leave studio, you got to click leave again so you can't accidentally.
Oh, I hate that. When I fucking do that, it means I'm having Wi-Fi problems and I'm uncomfortable with my guest.
Yeah.
These are secrets to the trade, people. Pay attention. I'm giving them to you. Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah.
Good night, y'all.
Good
night, Joe.
Lord.
I thought he'd never leave. No, I didn't say
Don't
that.
do that. He's so sweet. Oh my God.
Not out loud.
He's so sweet.
No. I love
Nita,
him
it's finally a pleasure to meet you, by the way.
You too, man. You too.
Oh, Nita is so cool.
I am not cool. I'm lame as fuck.
No, honey.
Yeah.
You are way better than lame.
Well, thank you, sir. I try. It's my job to entertain.
Looks like you got a Cobra Kai shirt behind you.
I most certainly do, because I am in the middle of some spiritual warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And I
said, you already have good taste in spirits. I love New Amsterdam stuff.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much.
There you
go.
Yep. Now she announced her age earlier, but I'm not going to post that because I'm not going to embarrass anybody.
I mean, that's
all right. Glenn will have something to hold over my head for an interview if he's still tuning in.
Well,
because I swear, like I told no one. I can't believe I just went off like that.
Well, I didn't like telling mine because it's broadcast, but it's done.
It's done. What's done is done, man.
Yeah.
I'll deny it. I'll deny it later. I'll be like that.
You really do not look your age, Chris. You
No, I wouldn't have put you there at all.
I appreciate that. I did look younger. My hair has receded a little bit.
Hey,
it
every
used to
time
be down to here.
Every time I get mine cut, there's more gray in it, and I'm going, how is that physically possible?
No, and see,
It's been
for
gray
us,
since I was 20.
For the women, the hairline for the majority of us, praise God, I'm one of them. It stays, but the giveaway is gonna be them forehead wrinkles every fucking time. It's like, hide that shit, girl. Be like, morning.
Yeah, I think my parents dying within under a year of each other contributed a lot to that.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and just got through with the anniversary of Dad's death. Mom died 12 days before he did the following year, so it's been 5 for Mom and 6 for Dad. So,
oh, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
it's a rough anniversary.
It's a like I said, it's a rough month for me. I'm not a fan of February. But
February hates me. I swear to God, you can go back a year in my fucking vlogs and look what Meredith and I were talking. And I swear, every single day in February last year, it was like February is trying to kill Nita. And it started with that goddamn Attack on Titan model sword up there trying to decapitate me on February 1st. I went to fucking move my wiring. I thought my microphone wasn't connecting right. And I grabbed the tail, which was the tail of that sword, and I thought it was the mic wire and yanked it. And that fucking sword came unsheathed and straight for my fucking face.
Wow.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was the most it was like I felt the breeze. Like my head was like this, and I was like, I honestly don't know how I didn't lose a piece of my cheek or one of my nipples. Like, it was just...
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
That would have been a great loss to the world.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was every single day. On February 2nd last year, my dad was admitted to the emergency room for blockage in his heart. February 3rd, I had a cousin involved in an accident, and that ended bad. And then it was just like boom, boom, boom. Every fucking day, something.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the February Sucks Club. And thank you, Pam. I appreciate that.
Every year.
I'll take all the hugs I can get.
You greedy little bugger, you.
Greedy nothing, man. You need
save
that.
some for the rest of us.
I didn't say anybody else couldn't have any. but as a personal rule, I do not turn away hugs from pretty women. Especially. I'm just saying.
I'm not quite that egalitarian, so, you know.
I don't turn down any, but like I said, I make it a point not to turn down hugs from pretty women, especially.
Point taken.
Yeah.
I shall return. The littlest room calls, but I'll be right back. Y'all.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Y'all try not to talk too dirty till I get back, because it's entertaining and I love it.
We have been perfect gentlemen all night.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I have to be polite on broadcast stuff.
Me too. I have to make an effort to do it as well.
Yeah,
it's tough for me because I'm so used to being able to trash talk on my own show that when I get on somebody else's, I don't know how to behave myself. My room, I make the rules. Out here, it's a whole new jungle.
I can be a terrible flirt at times.
Oh, man. I usually get flagged for language.
Yeah, well, my dad was a sailor, so I come by it naturally.
Mine too. Yeah, mine, for some reason, I don't know why, but about a year ago, Facebook started flagging me a lot. Like, I was getting restriction after restriction, and it would be for the most mundane shit. Like, there was one instance where Meredith and I were in a StreamYard at about I don't know, man. It had to be 2, 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. And I told her, she said something smart ass to me. Just playing, but it was smart ass. And my reply, just playing with her, was if you were my child, I would beat your ass.
Yeah.
Total fucking off the wall,
Yeah.
if scenario.
But you
and
hit key
Facebook
trigger words.
flagged my ass big
Yep.
time. And then I just was able to get back. And for me, that's a really big deal. Like, people are like, oh, you got banned from Facebook. For me, getting banned on Facebook is a very big deal because I'm a marketer. I promote comic books and prose writing.
Yeah.
So I have to be out there. I have to be hitting groups daily. And when Facebook's blocked, when they block you, you can't access even your groups unless you have another admin, in your corner. But anyway, yeah, so there was that. And then the next time, it was probably 4 months later, and I was talking in Uncle Carl's secret humor group. And I said, wasabi and soy almonds will beat your ass or get your ass. And I was talking about the spice. It was the whole conversation had been about the it's super hot. You can't handle it, blah, 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 blah. And that's all I said. That's all I meant. And fucking Facebook flagged my ass.
Of course.
Back in jail.
They've got bots that look for keywords and you said them.
I'm starting to think keywords are my name. I'm not even playing. The shit I get banned for compared to my friends, like, I'm friends with people that will post straight up nudes. Like, I have seen nipple, I have seen clit, and I have seen bare ass, and all of those have gone through. But I post something with a trigger word, and boom, I'm banned.
Yep.
That's because text is easier to scan than photos.
Especially depending on the lighting and how many other photographs they might be buried
Oh, well,
in.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I wasn't even looking at it like that because I mean, now I'm thinking back. We've had people like comment in our group talking, and they've banned them like in the middle of a chat. Just they disappear, and then you find out a day or two later it's because they were banned during your stream.
Yeah.
One for us was Christy Shin, and I can't even remember what she said, but I promise you guys, there was nothing that should have been considered a threat or even inappropriate for a chat that would have popped up in a stream that Meredith and I were running.
Well, their bots are overly sensitive and programmed that way.
What gets me is there's on my iPad, there's a thing of videos in Facebook, and it's apparently it's supposed to be videos that are suitable for Facebook, but like 90% of them are clips from porn movies.
Oh, wow.
Or they're people from foreign countries, ladies from foreign countries doing
looking for
TikTok videos that are pretty much dancing around and basically, even though they're wearing clothes, they're not very thick. And you can see just about everything, and some of them you can see everything.
Well, cans of biscuits.
And Facebook does not have any problem with that. Matter of fact, they're recommended by Facebook.
Oh, no, for sure. And then I turn around and post Daphne's cover, and it's got a little hint of tits and ass. Well, not that one back there because that's a commission. But I've got one up there. You don't see anything. It's insinuated. There is a bra covering nipples, and you do not see the lip spread. You see the outline. My shit gets flagged, but other people will post full on nudes. And
another thing too is if you've been flagged a number of times, they automatically have you program one of their first searches for stuff. So
well, sure, I'm the smut queen, I'm sure,
and
it's fine.
But the sad thing is, you almost need to know who porn stars are because they often use their pictures, even if they're clothed. They might just be wearing a sports bra or halter top or something.
Right.
But if you don't know who they are, you see this gal, she sends you, especially guys, they prey on guys and with phishing and scamming all the time. I get so many friend requests and like, I've seen that picture before and somebody said it was a porn star. So I'm like, you almost need to know who they are so you can recognize them right away. Somebody's like, report them all the time. I'm like,
But
why the heck would I do
mine
that?
is crazy because I'm getting reported for cosplay, women who cosplay. Sure, some of it's a little scandalous, but everything's covered. I'm not posting full on nudes. Now there may be nudes available in their campaign, but I'm not sharing that shit. And then the rest is actual art. Like it's traditional fucking comic book art. And it's nudes on some, but I've never ever let an unedited piece slip.
Well,
ever.
Most of the time that stuff's on their OnlyFans account, and they have usually a free one and a paid one, which you have to pay for to get the stuff that a lot of guys want to see.
Right.
And but the thing is, I follow cosplayers too because number one, they're pretty to look at. A lot of them do really good uniforms.
Oh yeah,
make their own, and their talent deserves to be rewarded. I mean,
no, for sure, I agree 100%. One of my favorite clients in the past has been a cosplayer, Karen Nicole. She's fucking beautiful.
Yes,
she does a lot of her own costumes. She's musically inclined. The list goes on and on and on.
She's gorgeous.
She is,
and it's hot as hell.
She's hot, one of the hottest women in comics, period. And in fact creates her own, does her own art. She colors. I mean, she is fucking phenomenal. She's fire bitch.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up.
Yeah, she is by far one of my favorite people.
And does one of the best Power Girl cosplays ever.
Yes.
And she's stacked enough to pull it off.
Yes, sir. I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Okay.
Now, Chris, you do not want to go and look up a website called Cosplay Deviants. Let me tell you that right now.
Oh, I already know about them. They've been at Dragon Con promoting their stuff.
Well, the reason I say that is I used to visit the website before Lindsay came into my life, and I no longer do and cancel my membership, but I'm still getting emails. And I'm going, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, one of these emails is going to show up, and my wife and my kids are going, what was he doing? What I'm doing is
looking but not touching.
And what I'm doing is I'm going, oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, sorry, click. Have to delete that, but these things, they happen.
Oh yeah.
It's a shame having to be respectable. It really is sometimes, but that's the part and parcel of the territory.
All right, I made it back.
Hey,
welcome back. Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
And there's no background noise tonight like there was yesterday night.
Dan, I want to totally hijack your show. Okay, so like one thing that I'm always having to do because of the type of audience I have is it's always fucking comics or it's always fucking prose. But something amazing happened when I came in here. You were talking about one of my obsessions. We were talking about Doctor Who. And I know who your favorite doctor is. But who is your favorite villain? What is your favorite nasty storyline? Who's your favorite bad?
The Valeyard. And actually, that is so much my favorite that I wish that I could write a script for them. I really do, because I would go back all the way to the first ever episode and dig up any possible clue that would give me justification to bring this on up to the present day and do something imaginative with it. I know the actor that played the character originally in the Colin Baker series has sadly passed on,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that he had not pulled a master and been able to scavenge a regeneration or two from somewhere. Now, there have been several masters who were absolutely outstanding.
Who
And
is your favorite master?
Missy.
No, okay. All right, mine too. All right.
Now,
Glenn wants to know why you don't write that script and send it in, Dan.
Because the BBC will not accept anything from an American writer.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Hey, Chris, did you have a favorite master?
I am not as up on Doctor Who. I know about some of them, so I haven't seen enough to comment on.
Yeah, but I have to agree with you, like Dan for sure. Like,
hey,
Missy was my favorite.
No, Delgado was awesome. Anthony Ainley was awesome.
Thank you, Glenn. Oh my God, that could repair so much damage.
Yeah, put your name on it. Yeah, right. like the paycheck would come to my bank account after I put your name on it.
Okay.
Like,
Svengali, anybody?
I can tell you one of my favorite scenes ever from Doctor Who.
Okay.
Was the scene where I believe it's Matt Smith takes Van Gogh to the art museum and has got Nighy.
Yes.
That is one of my favorite scenes ever.
If you don't cry during that, you definitely need serious medication.
You can't not be moved by that.
Yeah, that is a tear. That entire script was tear.
And that guy that played Vincent Van Gogh was awesome. And having Bill Nighy play the art curator,
right? Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy to me because that was during a time where I wasn't wild about the storyline, but yet some of my favorite episodes are within that storyline. Like, I don't like the shift of it where it seemed to me it took attention off the Doctor, but some of my favorite episodes were during that time frame.
The thing that moved me about it was how tortured of a soul Van Gogh was.
Right.
And how much that meant to him. Even if it wasn't real, it felt real.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot be moved by that. I mean,
and the worst part is knowing firsthand the effects of being so clinically depressed. I mean, if it's not you, it's somebody you love that you understand implicitly. And knowing that even having that ego boost, that confirmation of how great your work was, you still went back to your own life, and eventually the trigger happened.
Right.
But for a few moments, your soul was so happy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not, it's a tragedy. It's happy tears and affirmation that somebody finally, long after their time was over, got the affirmation that they did make a difference. And they always would make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the happy tears right there. And then you know the actual history, and you know exactly when and how long after that event would have taken place that it would have gotten to the point to where
Thank you, Glenn, for that info.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And Glenn, yeah, you would send me a check. Yeah, and you and Ed McMahon can both send me checks.
Somebody's doing it besides Ed McMahon now.
Yeah, I guess so, because nobody's got a Ouija board big enough.
Oh my gosh.
Nita, if you ever go back and watch any of our episodes, especially when it's just me and Dan, there's going to be a lot of music talked about.
Oh yeah.
I'm good with talking about music. Music's my favorite.
That's something that Chris and I have in common, that we
Music's kept me alive to this point.
we use that to fill the quiet hours. Let me tell you.
Journey, Pink Floyd, and Led Zeppelin is why I sit here today.
Oh my God, I love Journey. I like Led Zeppelin a lot. I like Pink Floyd a lot, but Pink Floyd can be so depressing sometimes.
They can, but let me tell you something. When in my depressed moment, in my the wall, if you will, 2 years I had in my life, that's the only reason I came through.
Isn't this?
But interestingly enough,
we came in.
The wall.
You know the reference. Yes.
Yeah. The Wall Part 2 has one of the coolest bass line intros of any song, and I'm surprised rap stars haven't used it or tried to use it.
They will.
Glenn, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I have had an earworm for the last 36 hours, and it will not
Pam,
quit.
Have a great night.
It will not quit. And it's
what is your earworm?
When the levee breaks.
Oh, right.
And the thing is, one time through it'll be Zeppelin, another time through it will be the all girl band. Oh bugger! I can't remember their name right now. They're fantastic. They're a Zeppelin cover band.
Get the Lead Out?
No. I can't even look it up right now, but no, not Heart. No, not Heart. They did a fantastic job with the performance of the Queen. Yeah, and yes, the boys all stood up and applauded because they go, I've never heard this done
that was
better than we can do it until now. Zepparella.
Dude, like right as okay. Clementine is their lead singer, and she is fucking amazing.
Hey, I would be a roadie for that band just to follow them around and drool. Let me tell you.
I got to mention this while I'm thinking about it. There is a all-female AC/DC tribute band called Shoot to Thrill.
Get the fuck out.
Never heard of them before.
Never heard of them.
I'll have to look that up.
Oh, they're hot too.
Now, I've got to admit that my musical influences go back to Glenn Miller, Artie Shaw, and Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey, and just all the big band music. Cab Calloway.
Shoot to Thrill.
Johnny Mercer.
Yeah, but that's a little bit later. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm talking 1940s music.
No, I think Johnny was back in that time. You probably thinking about Johnny Rivers.
Oh yeah, could be. Oh man, I used to get an earworm every day on the bus to elementary school. There'd be a certain point in the bus ride where Secret Agent Man would start playing in my head.
Yeah, that's Johnny Rivers.
Yep, and it would keep right on going. And the reason that I knew it was I had seen the Prisoner TV series, and I had seen the precursor, which is called Danger Man in England, but Secret Agent Man over here when it was rerun in the United States. And they used Johnny Rivers for the opening theme for that. And I mean, shit goes way back in my head. People ask me why I do this. And I'm going, when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, I would jump up on the fireplace hearth and do stand-up routines and introduce imaginary bands as if I were Johnny Carson. Well, that was before Johnny Carson took over the Tonight Show.
Yeah. It
It
originally
was just
started with
this,
Steve Allen.
yeah. So I finally figured it out. I was pretending to be Dean Martin.
There you go.
And I'm going, this is my life goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be drunk all the time and surrounded by beautiful women. This is my life goal.
Dude, I want that life goal. We can share. That's
Hey.
Hart actually does one of my favorite Who covers ever. Their cover of Rain Over Me.
Right.
Love Rain Over Me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that thing is awesome. And
oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Glenn. Yeah.
Give me a moment. I will be right back.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, Glenn, did you ever hear of the color remake of the original black and white movie of 1984? And Rick Wakeman did the soundtrack for it. Now, I have been a Rick Wakeman fan since the 70s. Even before I knew who Yes was, I knew who Rick Wakeman was. Because, I'm a keyboard fanatic. But I just absolutely love keyboard players, even though I'm shit on playing keyboard. I can handle a bass guitar, even though I'm like 2 decades out of practice now. But I really love Rick Wakeman, Keith Emerson. Oh Lord, who is the guy from the Doors? Rick Manzarek. All the way back, all the way back. You play one of the earliest albums that I was able to listen to was a '78 of the Vienna Symphony on the Air, and they were doing a version of Strauss's Die Fledermaus opera, and there was a piano solo that got intercut with the orchestra music.
Oh, nice.
And it was awesome. And it taught me how to appreciate dissonance, because part of it,
right,
it was banging away, basically. Right? And it was not the common chords that sound good, but it was chords that had this discordant value to it. And it drew my attention to it. And it just, I ate that shit up like it was, vanilla pudding with a big old spoon, But it was awesome. But I did not appreciate notes that were not perfect chords before then. Once I heard that, I'm ready. I'm ready for half the stuff that came out in the '70s, and about 80% of the stuff that came out in the '90s. You can't do heavy metal without discord.
No.
You've got the power chords are just everything. The whole range of stuff that can sound good together, but might sound just a little bit weird to some people. And that's oh my Lord. Nita, have you ever heard of a band called Bebop Deluxe?
I don't know if I have.
They were very, very late 70s, most of the way through the 80s and somewhat through the 90s. They're the
Made in Heaven.
Yes.
Life in the Air. Okay, yeah. I'm looking at these guys. I think so.
Yep. Bill Nelson is probably one of the greatest poets still living. If you look at the lyrics that he wrote for that stuff, it will rip your heart out and make you hug it while you cry. It's just beautiful stuff. And he's always done that. And he's a fantastic guitar player as well. The band went through several lineup changes, and his Bill's taste changed over the years, and he kept experimenting. He's still recording stuff to this day. He's still doing online concerts to this day. There are a few things available on YouTube of him nowadays doing some of the stuff, and it's just I cannot recommend that highly enough to anybody. Just if you like stuff that is just driving guitar, bass, keyboards, and
I'm
lyrics you can think
sneaking
about.
some peeks now.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff. I mean, this is Frank Zappa level of
for
being
sure.
able to play.
I was listening to Blimps, just the instrumental, and it was like, this is nice.
I introduced Dan to my favorite cover of Procol Harum's Wider Shade of Pale by HSAS, which stands for Sammy Hagar, Neil Sean, Kenny Aronson, and Michael Shreve. That was a super group. They performed and did some touring in the early 80s.
They did a great job of it.
Michael Shreve was a drummer for Santana, and Neil Sean got his start with Santana. Kenny Aronson has played with a lot of bands, and I think
Sammy Hagar has done one or two things before.
Yeah, he's performed a solo career. He started off with Montrose, and of course, he had his time with Van Halen, and since the Circle. And
I've actually seen Sammy Hagar with his own band as the opening act for Boston.
Get the fuck out!
Yeah,
that's nice.
And Sammy Hagar blew Boston off the damn stage.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. He showed them there's only one way to rock.
I absolutely love Boston. But Sammy Hagar, I had never heard of him before. And he came on and went, let me show you how this is done. And then Boston had to follow him. So
I don't know if you saw my post in Stupid O'Clock earlier this week, but the guy that co-wrote Wider Shade of Pale with Procol Harum died.
Yes. You were not the only one that posted that. And actually, about 2 days after I knew about it, Lindsay found out and told me about it. And it was really, it's a great loss. It's an absolutely great loss. I still think the best concert footage is that when they did in the Netherlands, that's the most recent, where they had the full orchestra.
Oh yeah,
and them playing with it. Yo, that blows me away, because that's the way that stuff needed to have been done.
That sends tingles up your spine.
Really, it just there. You click on it and you see the audience, and you zoom in on stage, and then the orchestra starts up, and I get chills, even knowing what's coming up.
Yeah. And I got to see I guess this was around 84, 85, MTV showed a concert of Yes. And that was around the time of their 90125 album, which had the obvious big hit, Owner of a Lonely Heart. But that's the first time I remember hearing the song and associating it with Yes, of I've Seen All Good People. And it was such a good performance, even though Even though Trevor Rabin is no Steve Howe, he's still an accomplished guitarist in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another one of those that had a lot of success with with soundtracks and all. He actually did the soundtrack for Armageddon.
Patrick Moraz filled in for Rick Wakeman for a few years, and that was the first time I've heard of him. Then I went back and looked up his solo career, and I'm going, God, why hadn't I never heard of this guy before? He got like synthesizers 60 stories tall or something. You know,
and although he was more dance and pop oriented, I thought
he
Howard
did a
Jones
lot of
was an
progressive
underrated
stuff too.
keyboardist.
The prog rock is something that I will always have a fondness for.
Yeah. Howard Jones, I think, is another good keyboard player, but he's a little more pop and new wave associated.
You know, do you remember in the '90s when Howard Jones first hit the video scene and did the original video version of "No One Is to Blame"?
Yep.
And then the album came out,
and
a few years later, there was a total remix of "No One Is to Blame," where it was not the same as the album cut. It was a whole lot softer sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the one that kind of had the musical chimes in the video.
Yep.
The little thing that the little metal,
little robot musicians playing stuff. Yeah.
That's the one that became the big hit from. Yeah. It got a lot of radio airplay.
Now, let's see, Thomas Dolby.
Yes.
When his first album came out, I liked maybe 2 songs on it, and one of them was Blinded by Science.
Blinded Me with Science, yes.
And then I sat and listened to the whole album. And I listened to it again, I listened to it again. Every time I listen to it, I go, okay, this song's really great too. Up until the time where I go, this is a fantastic album, every cut. Now, it might have taken me 6 months to get that far.
Yeah.
But it's
What I have noticed, there might be some albums that I bought. I try not to buy an album if there was only one song that I heard on the radio or anywhere. There's the only one I liked. I'm like, it's not worth it. There had to be at least 2, preferably 3 or more on it I liked before I would buy it. Unless I just really, really like the 2. And lots of times I might listen to it and I might not care for the songs, but I might revisit it, a year, 2 years down the road and discover there's a couple other songs that I actually liked that I didn't really give a chance to because I was so impatient to get to the stuff that I liked.
Oh, now, are you familiar with Edgar Winter? They Only Came Out at Night. They Only Come Out at Night. The album title.
I think so.
That's the album that Frankenstein came out on.
Yeah, I was thinking.
All right, now that was the only song I heard on the radio of that album.
Yeah,
I went ahead and bought it. Now, at the time, I knew that Edgar Winter and Johnny Winter were very, very famous, but I didn't know why. I was only a teenager at the time.
Yeah,
right.
So I sat and I listened to that. And once I was able to pick my jaw up off the floor, I listened to it a few more times in a row. Now, this is where I developed an appreciation of these people are famous for playing these songs, but these other people that play along with them are just absolutely breathtaking, doing their own stuff too.
Chuck Leavell comes to mind of
Dan, is it Dan Hartman or Hartley that was on um, the Edgar Winter group?
I don't know. I know
think it
there
was
was.
Hartman. He did his own solo piece.
Yeah.
I Can Dream About You.
Yes. I love that video. The one where he's the bartender in it.
Yes, that's the best, absolutely best version. Now he did one of the songs he was singing instead of the regular vocalist on the Edgar Winter They Only Come Out at Night album, and it's called Autumn, and it's a haunting, beautifully romantic piece, but it's you're waiting for killer guitar and whatnot all through this, and then you get this thing that could be a romance movie soundtrack album, sort of feel to it, and you're not ready for it. You want rock and roll, but then this thing comes on, and instead of picking up the needle and skipping it across the nose, you just listen to the entire track, and you go, "This guy can freaking sing. This is great." And then he comes out in the '90s with "I Can Dream About You," that beautiful video with him doing the blackface in the band.
Well, actually,
Pretend to be the Temptations.
That was from the '84 movie Streets of Fire, so it was actually a song from 1984.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, he was one of those that loved to sing and perform, but he didn't like to get on stage.
Yeah, he didn't want anybody to see him very much.
I guess he wanted to do his thing, but not be one of those that got mobbed. Hey, I understand. I mean, not everybody's. Another one that did not like performing.
If I were still playing an instrument, I'd want to be a studio musician. I would not want to be up on stage with people. I'd want to be in the studio.
Well,
where nobody can see me.
No, because nothing is worse than having to be an idol.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I will tell you another one who did not like performing. And when they went on tour, they had to get another singer to perform. Robert Palmer.
Really?
Yes, when he was with the Power Station, he did not want to tour with them because he didn't like. He would do a music video, but he did not want to tour.
Yeah.
So they got Michael DeBar, who was my favorite villain on the original MacGyver series.
Which is a shame because Robert Palmer did some fantastic stuff.
Oh, I love the Power
going way back. Him and Ringo doing Sneaking Sally Through the Alley. That was wonderful. That goes way back. Not way back. But,
Bad Case of Loving You. Everyday
People. That was the more modern era, but yeah.
And I love the Power Station's cover of "Bang It On, Get It On" by T-Rex. And they had Tony Thompson from Cheek playing drums, along with the brothers Taylor from Duran Duran.
Now, are you really interested in T-Rex, or are you just kind of ambivalent about them? Because people usually are either fanatic or take them or leave them.
I mean, I've only heard their "Bang and Gone" and a couple other songs by them. Mark Bowen was the lead singer of them, right?
Lead singer, guitar player, pretty much the driving force behind all of the different iterations of the band. There's YouTube videos of his TV show from England, and those are not cut well. The recordings they'll be going through and they'll be playing something, and it's time to run the end credits, and they're halfway through a song.
But isn't that the best stuff?
Oh yeah. But back when I was in college, T-Rex was just getting to be known for stuff that was not Bang a Gong. So I did a deep dive into their back catalog, and I've got like 16, 17 T-Rex albums. And the songwriting is not overly complex. The structure, the structure, the lyrics, it's you've got 2 verses, a chorus, a repeat of the first verse, another chorus, and that's the end of the song.
Rude.
It's very timed for radio play sort of thing. And if you are just first running across it, you think it's horribly simplistic.
Yeah.
And then you listen to all the instrumentation, everything in the way it was mixed. It's not
on vinyl,
incredibly
children.
complex, but it is quietly.
There are certain songs that have layering of the music, and the arrangements are just so superb. It kind of seems simple, but when you think about it and you see how they blend the song together.
It would have been my choice, Glenn. Abbey Road just seems like the right choice.
I would have bought both of them, Glenn. I really would.
I'd have been too poor.
Yeah, well.
Hey, first albums I ever bought with my own money was Dark Side of the Moon and Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Well,
we were visiting my grandparents. I took them home to my grandparents' house, and the family went out to do something else. I was left there with my granddaddy, and he said, you can play those on the stereo here. Just go right ahead. I don't mind.
Nice.
So me and my granddaddy listened to Dark Side of the Moon. We listened to Welcome to My Nightmare. He goes, oh, that's Alice Cooper. You know, his daddy's a preacher. I see him on the golf programs. People keep acting like they expect him to pull a snake out of his golf club bag. He's not a bad boy. He just plays that way for the show.
Yeah.
And then Dark Side of the Moon, Granddaddy said, that sounds just like the music on the soap operas that your granny watches.
Well, you know, it's interesting. One of my favorite metal bands, somebody was playing them one time. I says, who's that Pink Floyd playing?
Oh, damn.
If you've ever heard of Queensryche, at one point in time, they were called the Thinking Man's Heavy Metal Band. Their album, Operation Mindcrime, was actually going to be a movie. And it was the soundtrack for it, but they ran out of money, so they couldn't finish the movie, so they had to release the soundtrack because they needed money to pay for bills and whatnot. The cool thing is, if you ever watched Star Trek V, the one that played Cyborg, Spock's brother, was the one that played Dr. X in the Operation Mindcrime movie. And eventually, when they got enough money, because the album sold well, they sort of did a movie. They did scenes from it that they put in their live production show and did it that way. But when they decided to do a sequel about 19 years later, they decided to give Dr. X a singing spot, and the person they chose to do that was none other than Ronnie James Dio.
Well, man.
Surprising they found him quite tall enough for him to stand on.
But
because he's
short.
About 2 feet tall.
Yeah, but he had a powerful voice. And if you ever heard him sing Rainbow's Man on the Silver Mountain,
I have.
and I got
No,
some younger.
the man can sing and the man can play guitar. But,
Yeah. Well, I have some younger
in all the
friends.
bands I've heard him fill in on that weren't his own band,
Yeah.
it's like, that's good, but I wish Ozzy was back.
I have some younger friends who love Holy Diver,
Mm-hmm.
and that's from his solo career. And interestingly enough, Vivian Campbell of at one point in time Whitesnake and now Def Leppard was his guitar player with Jimmy Bain.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite
For that all
jam songs and benefit songs was from the short-lived get-together that Ronnie James Dio brought about called Hearing Aid. And if you ever see their video for Stars, it's like a who's who of heavy metal guitarists and hard rock guitarists.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would be extremely remiss if I didn't mention my favorite band of all time, Hawkwind.
Yes.
Because they've been going since 1969 was their first album. Mm-hmm. And even though members have come and gone and some have passed away, they are still recording today.
Yep.
But their original bass player was Lemmy, who got fired and went on to form Motorhead of his own. And it's just, this is heavy synthesizer, heavy space rock sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely fell in love with it the first time I heard any of it whatsoever. And I can't decide which is my favorite period of them recording. Was it the late 70s, the mid 70s, the early 80s? What they were doing in the 90s? What they're doing right now? I can't decide. It's all good, but you can't put it all in the same box. You've got to have little separate boxes for it.
Well, the thing about it is, as a band progresses in their music, there's going to be variation, but there's also going to be enough of a little bit of a continuation that ties it all together. Yeah. It might be faint, but it's there.
The continuity still remains, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, whether... Take Chicago, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They have evolved over the years. They were a different band when Terry Kath was there. And when he was gone, was about the time that they brought David Foster in, and him and Cetera kind of took over the band for a while. And then when Cetera left and they were kind of sick of him, Jason Scheff kind of did the high volumes, and they went back to the songs that Robert Lamb sang lead on.
Yeah.
And so you had all the variations, but you also had the continuity of them playing some of the older stuff and the newer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Jason Scheff left the band because he got tired of touring all the time.
Well, yeah, that happens. That happens.
And
touring is a real...
it's the only way bands make money. Because
it's exhausting, though.
Yes.
It really is. It's just... It's a shame they have to, but they do have to. It's just... it's a shame bands can't make money off of albums alone, but nobody's got the kind of money to spend to buy enough albums to keep a band afloat
Yeah.
just without having to tour. Oh, okay. I probably mentioned this band to you before. Crack the Sky. They're really neat. I heard of them in college, and I became a fan right away. Um, they're very. I don't want to call them new age. They can rock. They can play uh, uh, love songs and gentle stuff, and then
Yeah.
they can just blow the stadium up in the next cut.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever get a chance, go ahead and listen to their catalog.
Yeah.
Um, you know, they impressed me because in their album liner credits,
Yeah.
they gave credit to the people that made their guitar strings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'd never heard of anything like that before.
Well,
You know, that,
that's one of my bait thrills from buying albums was reading the liner notes.
I never got in the habit of that until the fellow that was teaching me how to play bass guitar got
Mm-hmm.
on to me because I didn't know anything about the musicians on the albums I was listening to. And he goes,
Yeah.
that's shameful. You should pay attention because you're going to run into some of these people on other albums. You're going to recognize their work, but you're not going to know who they are. Go ahead and learn who they are.
Well, the cool thing about Toto, other than everybody discovering how cool Africa is the fact that they were studio musicians. In fact, David Page, who was one of the keyboard slash piano players, wrote some of Michael Jackson's biggest hits, which were very huge moneymakers for him.
And they're also the reason there are no vampires in Africa. Because Toto blessed the rains down in Africa.
And
that's one thing I've really missed about, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Nobody ever thought about super soakers filled with holy water.
that actually would have been cool.
Yeah, really. And it wasn't until Matt Smith with the little squirt gun that anybody ever really gave it serious consideration.
What would have been funny is if they had done the Halloween episode where they did that. Halloween night, vampires come out, they got super soakers loaded with holy water.
No more vampires for a while. No, they did do it. They did do a scene where there was a building they were in, and a lot of vampires are in, and they blessed the water supply for the fire sprinklers and turned it into holy water and turned on the fire suppression system. And I'm like going, this would have been the shortest Blade movie in the history of the world if he just took a priest with him and blessed the fire sprinklers.
Yeah, but Blade 3 had one of the funniest damn lines in history.
Oh, without Blade, there wouldn't have been a Marvel universe now. There really wouldn't have been.
Well, you remember that line? Chris Christopherson's kind of ticked off.
I remember the scene. I don't remember the line.
Okay, I'll type it in private chat.
Oh, is it one of those?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though we've only got 2 people watching live, but oh well, one of them's on Rising Tide, one of them's on my channel. So, well, it's not Mom. I'll tell you that right now. Mom doesn't even know I do this stuff. If she did, she'd be horrified that I speak so openly and candidly. Nita, Maybe in the green room I would touch that line. That ain't Vampira there. Oh, Lord. Even at this time of night, with only 2 watchers, this is being recorded. So I'm sorry, darling. I do appreciate the joke, though. Oh, heavens. And I actually remember the Latin term for that and know the stories behind it, but and it did show up as a defense against rape in a Outsiders or Deathlands novel written by one of the folks that's on my friends list on Facebook. Not going to give his name because quite frankly, it's not to protect his privacy. It's because I can't remember.
Okay, Dan, there it is.
Senior moment. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Point taken. Notice I ain't disagreeing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Needless to say, I couldn't have said that on the broadcast.
You couldn't. You couldn't even say that in the green room. Well, yeah, you might have been able to get away with that in the green room, but people be rolling on the floor.
They'd also be shocked that I said it.
That you said it, yeah. You do have this innocent appearance and reputation, which I'm glad that we can work our way through.
Yeah. Well, I never claimed to be perfect.
No, but you are entertaining as fuck.
Oh, I do approach sainthood occasionally, but I don't quite make it.
Well, I'm proud to say I will never reach any level that will be nominated for that particular honor.
I just jokingly say that because I was named after one. Oh, I hope Nita gets to come back, but it looks like she's done for the night.
Well, she said her internet was acting up. So,
I know.
Yeah. That's quite all right. That's quite all right. We've only got 5 minutes left anyway.
Oh yeah.
And I've got to say, this has been one of the better shows. It really has. And
well, that's because Nita was here.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to find words to say. That's Nita was a big reason that it was such a great episode. And Nita, you are always welcome back anytime you cannot get to sleep. I'm guaranteed my voice will knock you out, or we will find Chris will find ways to keep you awake. And suddenly, after saying that, I realized that was an unintended double entendre, but you know.
Oh, well.
These
I
things
do what I can. I do what I can.
Yeah, that was not any less. There's nothing either of us can say right now to salvage this situation. So
I know, that's why I said it. I mean, hell, might as well have fun. We went there.
Yeah, really. Here's Johnny.
You know, I was talking about music layering and arrangements in a song. One of my favorites that does that, especially at the beginning of it, is if you've ever heard Alan Parsons' project Primetime.
Primetime I'm not familiar with, but I am familiar with Alan Parsons.
So, it starts off with a simple keyboard stroke, and then there's just a brief bass note and a pause and another bass note, and like I said, it just slowly builds up, and it's the video is actually pretty cool. Yes, Glenn, Alan Parsons.
Yes, indeed.
I actually got to see the Alan Parsons live project at Riverbend. He was on a secondary stage, and there were people there. The audience before the show was over was like, "Why is he not on the main stage?" And I tell you,
well, I mean, he's only produced a few Beatles albums.
Yes, he worked at Abbey Road Studios, learned his craft there.
Really,
and
the man learned how to work a mixing board back in the day for some of the most demanding people ever to exist.
And he also learned arranging and producing skills that just have
served him well.
Yes, and made some really good songs.
Have you ever? I'm sorry, this is going to be an aside. This is going to, change the subject. Have you ever sat and watched the live video of Mike Oldfield performing the Tubular Bells album?
No, but that would probably be cool as heck.
It is. And I mean, he starts off with just the simple thing, and then he keeps going, and it's all him playing everything. And then as it progresses, it gets so complex, he has to invite other people in to play some of the background stuff while he's playing the foreground stuff.
Yes, Glenn, he was an engineer, but he learned some production values there, and he definitely benefited from it, and we benefited from it. There is an album of Alan Parsons project that is a 2-album compilation. It's called Works, and it's an import, and it is well worth the money I spent on it.
It's basically greatest hits.
Oh, yes. It's got the early stuff. It's got the good stuff.
Glenn saw the Mike Oldfield thing on live. Yeah. That it was done on it was either BBC or ITV. I can't remember which. And it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. So you can actually sit and watch it. It might be interrupted by a few commercials, which are a shame. Oh, okay. BBC. Thank you, Glenn.
Glenn, that song "Tubular Bells" was a notification alert on my brother's phone, my baby brother's phone, when his girlfriend at the time was texting him. And she texted back so dang quick. I mean, her fingers were that fast. It was literally creeping me out because I heard Tubular Bells so close together, rapid fire. It's like a machine gun on full auto with 5,000 rounds.
Sounds like one of my daughters. Then I mean, she'll text you something, and then before you can even hit halfway through reading the text, there's another message. There's ping, 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 ping. I can't type that fast on a regular keyboard. All right, we are just a hair over the 2-hour limit, so we're gonna call this a very successful show. And thank you, Nita, for showing up. Thank you, Glenn, for being in the comments. Thank you, everybody that was in the comments. I'm not scrolling back up to get your name. I'm sorry. I'm being impolite. But
it was Glenn, Nita, Pam, Smith, Jody for a brief time, and
maybe Ace.
That's most of it. That is most. Yeah, I don't think Ace come in for this one.
Well, he
must have been.
He might have been stupid o'clock. Yeah. It's the same night. I haven't gone to sleep. There's no way to put a barrier in there and go, this was then and this is now.
Yeah.
But thank you, Glenn. Thank you. We do our best. We do our best. Yep. Chris is one of the reasons that I can stay coherent for this long. And when we start talking music, it could go on for 6 or 8 hours, but we're only going to show you 2 so you can imagine what we get up with after you go to bed. And it's still going to be talking about music. No, I'm going to have to catch some Z's here myself.
Yeah, I am too. But
yeah,
I enjoyed it. Pleasure as always.
I've got to make sure that Lindsay's car starts in the morning, so I might have to get up at 7 a.m. and put the charger on it to make sure that damn thing starts.
Yeah. But great show. Fun as always. I enjoyed it. And until next time.
Thank you very, very much. Let me swap over to Brand here and scroll down. There's the outro. And for everybody that is watching us live that hung around this long, God bless you. You need a shrink. There are mental health experts waiting for your calls right now. And on the other hand, if they actually prescribe you anything, throw it away, because we want you to keep watching the show. And,
and follow us for more music tips and suggestions. There are various outlets where you can listen to or purchase those.
And we don't get paid for any of this. We're just fans.
Yep.
So,
And if you become fans too, even so much the better.
Exactly so. And on that note, in the words of Jackie Gleason, good night, folks. And we'll see you Thursday on Stupid O'Clock. And we'll probably see you in other shows that we're not running, but are being active participants in. So,
indeed.
Y'all have a good night and a great life, and it's up to you to make it great. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You got to put in the effort, just like anything else.
Yep.
So your life is your own. Make it the best you can, and don't sweat the small stuff. In the end, almost everything is small stuff.
Pretty much.
Everybody. You're still here? Go to bed. It's almost 2 in the morning. Go to bed. I mean, seriously. Don't you have something you're going to do tomorrow? Good night, everybody.